But yeah, their style is somewhat different, for sure.
Yeah, stream went down for a second, stream's back up.
I was just about to ask. I went to pull it up on the side.
Yeah, stream went down, but it's up. So first up, we have someone who's been competing in our tournaments for a little bit, Trinity, who plays Fairy, and then Dizzy, who is a very good Exard Dizzy player. She has made top 8s in like very stacked tournaments for Exard, so I'm excited to see. She plays Jita, I imagine. Her icon is Jita on challenge. So yeah. Jita.
Yeah, looks like we are gonna have the Jita. Trinity wasn't the one I helped commentate a couple weeks ago. You can see them feeling out. You know, Fairy has to pick her spots. It's a very strong character, but I think that's a bit of a shock to newer players when they hear how good Fairy is and then they try to pick her. She has a very large toolbox, but you still can't pick a wrench when you got a hammer or a nail, right? You still got to pick the right move to cover the right situation. And that can be a little challenging when someone like Jita, who has really high movement speed, is just zooming at you the whole time.
Yeah, Jita definitely has a much more straightforward game plan than Fairy.
And this is a matchup that, when Jita was new, this matchup was miserable for her. It was nearly unwinnable.
Really?
And then they extended the hurt boxes and they changed the priority on the crouching normals of Fairy. And now that right there, you see that 2M just crushing the startup of the Fairy normal. It's more of a common thing now that you can just sort of buffer your crouching normals against Fairy. And, you know, if Fairy swings at the wrong time, she's going to eat this into the corner.
Yeah, that was an excellent spot dodge by Dizzy there to get in.
Yeah, and there's another good counter hit. Yeah, just shutting down. And even though, you know, not maximum reward, you don't really need to. This is perfect, yeah. You just whittle down and don't let Fairy out of the corner, and this SBA should finish going for the technical input, and looks like it has it down.
Yep. And of course, Fairy with no 5-frame normals, that Jita pressure is all the more scary.
Yeah, and just Shoto damage in general. Fairy also being a low health character. If any of the Shotos tap her in the corner, she's going to be feeling it. We'll see it here. Going to the MTP, saving the timers here. Spending one of the expirable.
Keeping it simple and straightforward, but locking it down, that's all you really need to do.
Yeah, Trinity did find a knockdown, but wasn't able to get out of the corner, and this is going to hurt again. All right, DP out. Kind of last chance in this game one here.
100 meter for both players as well.
Yeah, I would like to see Trinity just kind of wait for that spot to spend that meter, try to get either a rush to get some corner space or get an OD, but kind of a clutch jump over. I don't think Trinity was ready for Jita to land on the other side there, and going to take game one.
That could actually be a good spot to OD right there, in those moments where there's a scramble, the opponent ends up in a
even if the
situation where they can leave themselves in the corner.
Would allow the dodge. Most people aren't going to be ready for that, right? They would have had to like, preemptively put in the option select to dodge on landing. Plus frames, yeah, didn't respect it, got caught with the 2M.
Yeah, Trinity just trying to find the right spaces to challenge here in the corner.
Yeah, so something I would like to see there. You saw the GG go down, right? And went for the low mix, delayed the GG to cover the sweep. You could let that GG rip a little earlier to put Jita in block stun right away, and then roll through to get the side switch so you're not in the corner. But Trinity does get the positioning now. Oh, good DP out.
DP's right back though. Keeping Jita in the corner here.
Ooh,
super aggressive super. It should be a big punish.
I was gonna say, that's the thing. When you do the technical input of the Raging Storm type super for Jita, you can sort of choose when you end it, and it's always going to be the same amount of minus. It's the same punishable, but you still have to sort of be ready for when she's going to stop doing it. She could do the whole thing. She could do part of it as Dizzy did there, and it's just kind of an awkward punish, even though it's very punishable.
Definitely something to look out for.
Well, it's the second half of the Rekka Rip. Goes for the overhead, no bite on the grab, but running out of life here. OD trying to make the checkmate situation. This is going to be dangerous. The overhead beats the throw.
That's huge.
Yeah. Not a lot of meter, though. Big meter deficit. So Trinity doesn't have OD available, and the air-to-air jump L there. Going to close it out for Dizzy. Quick work.
Yeah, Dizzy just consistently closing the gap there and kind of just forcing situations that Trinity wasn't always ready for.
Yeah, and that is hard as Fairy, right? Like, you have to really be comfortable with situations, and you have to be comfortable fighting compact when you don't necessarily have good tools for that, right? Picking your spots to get out with the far light, using the 214H just for pushback, and sometimes you gotta waste meter just on rush just to exit the corner with plus frames.
Yeah, the space that rush gets you is definitely really useful.
Okay, I'm back. Good shit, Dizzy. Dizzy, my goat. Up next, we have Xyrith, who is a graduate of BlazBlue, and this is his first game he's played besides BlazBlue. So I'm excited to see. He plays Percival in this game.
Oh, yeah.
And then
I like to see these transitions, because I started BlazBlue was my first game a very long time ago in CT, and now this is my favorite game. So seeing other people come over and how they adjust to the much slower, much less crazy neutral is always fun.
That's actually really funny, Callisto. I didn't know that, and I wouldn't have guessed that either.
Nundo1 in here, he said, I'm on stream next, I'm ready.
On deck.
Is he on stream next? No, he's not even on stream next.
No, Nundo1 is just here, cheering us on.
Oh, he is. He's on stream next, yeah. Okay, so everyone in round 1 is finished. So we're going to have Mimel versus Xyrith. So Mimel, or Mimel, unsure which one, I think it's Mimel, is... Narmaya, yeah, they made top 8 last time. Obviously, much smaller bracket last time, but I'm excited to see this happen.
Yeah, both with the light blue squares, usually an indication of just a brand new player, right? So definitely gonna see who has their feet underneath them first. Yeah, the Percival, I think he can be a little daunting to pick up and play, even though he's strong, because his movement is so slow, and you have to get used to the idea that your movement is coming from your moves, your attacks a lot of time, using the forward, the far standing medium as your main source of movement in many instances. If you haven't played Percival and you've been getting smoked by him and you're like, wow, this character's busted, try him, because he handles like a dump truck. And he's honestly harder to he is harder to play than you would expect. Narmaya, also fairly hard to play, but totally different reasons. You just have more stuff you have to keep track of. Make sure that you're in the right stance. Make sure that, you're using the correct tools for the correct spacing. Starting off in the she stance. I always know Kagura. Oh, it's Genji. I remember. All right.
Is that just to play slow and build some stocks here at the start, but leaving themselves back up into the corner.
And Milo with getting with kind of a low-level knowledge check here with the Setsuna. That's a really dangerous projectile to use at this range, because a roll from Percival into 5M would definitely smoke her for it. But this is the stuff you got to do early in the bracket. If you're using a strategy that someone is not countering, you keep doing it until they show they can. Just walking forward confidently though.
Yeah, Mimel kind of building some momentum here. Just seeing that fireballs aren't being contested and running forward and just controlling that space.
Ooh! we had that kind of Jita Rekka moment where you try to roll through and it hits on the other side.
And that was a checkmate situation right there. OD puts you into chip, command dash. Yeah, it's rough.
Starting off, no stock, so that's actually punishable. Good awareness there from Mimo. Gets the full punish with the auto combo. Has the corner now. Yep, running the crescent moon. Oh, gonna get back into the corner.
Right, that is huge.
Yeah. And we're gonna see, this is another dangerous knowledge check. The cross of the X slide. That's exactly what I was about to say. Once you do have the corner against Narmaya, you really gotta be ready to use that guard button. That is a pretty punishable move, but you have to be prepared to either quickly block on the other side or just use the guard button. Combo into the sweep, gets a knockdown.
Not out of this momentum here. Lots of stocks now, and can contest that space where Narmaya can fireball pretty easily.
Yeah, and this is kind of where you run into the danger of when you're late round and you both have meter, the first one to spend it, that's punished. No, didn't go for it. Walked forward and got caught with the 2L. But yeah, it's kind of hard when you want to spend your meter to gain an advantage, but when you put yourself in a situation where the other person has overdrive up and you're near chip and you don't have overdrive to cancel it, or the other way around sometimes where you spend overdrive because you're worried about chip and now you're fighting a character who has rush and you don't.
Oh, there's the spot dodge. I wonder if Cyrus is listening to the stream.
I'm all for it. You use what's available to you. You know, I'm the guy watching icons. So, you know, if you have the stream up in the background and I'm coaching, good. Take my advice. I'm a genius.
It is the training mode network.
Yeah, I was talking about this with someone earlier. I was like, I didn't make a, like, tournament server. I made a school, baby.
Going for the overhead.
Okay, here we go. Zyler taking the corner again. And now being a bit more aggressive, throwing out those pokes.
Yeah, but again, we're gonna run into that same danger situation, right? Is that cross-up slash on deck? But no, just the harassment, keeping her pinned down, not getting an opportunity to use it, but there's the DP out.
Yeah, now 100 meters for both players, and not ready for the overhead.
Yeah.
This is my might.
Yeah, I was gonna say more offense from Zyra there, and I was gonna say that's something I wanted to see, because Zyra has had these windows, and they haven't really been taking advantage of the opportunity to really condition Mimel.
Good use of the JH. You know, we'll see eventually. Someone coming from BlazBlue, I think especially, is going to be comfortable with the counter hit air-to-air combos in this game. Very standard Arxis mechanic of floating all the way to the ground if you counter hit them out of the air. Ooh, wow, quick round though. And again, both of these first two matches have been quick 2-0s.
Yeah, Mimel just keeping the pace up and really kind of just sending it in when Cyrus has been patient.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to say is that Mimel looked very comfortable with doing the knowledge checks and then reining it back when Zyrith would not react to them, but, you know, like, not do something.
And I like that Mimel, you know, clearly smelled blood at some point and went in. You know, though they weren't going in the entire time, but when it felt like it was a checkmate situation. And, you know, Susie in front of me, still in jail. She took a set off me the other day, and I literally yelled, "Oh, you're grounded," out loud. And, you know, Susie can tell you what happened after that.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, hell nah.
I was going to say, a lot of good patience from Zyra during that set, but we didn't see a lot of just contesting the space that Mimel was taking. When they were trying to stock up and like throwing out some fireballs and buttons, they were doing a lot better in neutral. But a lot of the time they would just down back and weren't really ready to respond to the space that Mimel was taking.
Yeah, and especially with the overhead of Narmaya's is one of the ones, it's not quite as crazy as something like Zoe, but it has a pretty good amount of horizontal movement, and we saw a lot of that, just getting chipped away with the overhead, not quite, you know, familiar enough with Grand Blue to react to it yet.
Yeah, that's definitely something to learn coming from another game.
And Neko, also here a couple weeks ago, Charlotta, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and then to one is a pretty strong Eustace, has been practicing a lot in these brackets.
Yeah, so when you see in the lobby frequently.
Mm-hmm.
Not a character you see a lot, though. There's a few more here and there. I think a lot of people agree that Eustace is a cool character and they want to try him. But
he's so hard.
Sometimes the way to play him doesn't make sense, and something I do think not enough people do. He got a buff in 2.85 to make his timer cooldowns. When you use easy input, his timers come back faster than other characters.
He is a charge character that does not actually have to charge.
Yeah,
I think that's
it makes his pressure so good. So good.
Not just that, it lets him move. You're not stuck down backing to charge, and I think more people need to utilize just moving and using the skill button so that you're not stuck in one position. Good use of the info on the rush there. Caught Charlotte on the way up, and a quick round. And we're definitely seeing some zoomies.
Yeah, I was going to say, this matchup can be pretty strong for Eustace because of the way his fireballs work. It's really good for contesting a lot of Charlotte's approaches.
Yeah, and Charlotta, that is her primary weakness, right? She's not very good against projectiles. She doesn't have a projectile option other than her super. So before she has meter, she doesn't really have a lot of way to navigate. And what you mentioned, Eustace specifically covers kind of that vertical space in front of him as well as the horizontal, so she can't approach in the air as easily as she would. And _1 with a good combo here.
That was sick. That was sick. Give it up.
Oh. Almost had the backdash to bait out the OD, a little too close, still in a good situation. Oh, yeah, good recognition. The spacing was a little bit off. Last hit of the hands whiff.
Yeah, #1 is my go. He was one of he was an adopter at TMN very early in our Grand Blue lifetime, and definitely excited that he's come back because he hasn't played in a while.
Oh, a little bit early on the follow-up for the demon flip there, so you don't get the auto-correct. Yeah, just trying to get close, and this is the struggle against Eustace.
Yeah, against Eustace, you really have to be ready to either spot dodge or preemptively jump the faster fireballs and grenades to get in.
Yeah, I would honestly maybe like to see Pen and Echo utilize the H versions of the specials. Even though you have your timers down more significantly, Charlotta is similar to 6, where she just has very strong H specials, right? She has okay regular specials, but very good H ones. And sometimes it's okay, you know, play without the timer for a little while, and then when they're up, spend it to try to get in. Use that 2-2H so you have faster follow-ups.
Yeah, but because of the way Eustace can layer the fireballs, you really have to pick the right time to actually let those rip to get in. So patience is definitely big in this matchup, trying to get in against Eustace.
Working in the corner, but good challenge there. Bit of an overextension on the plus frames after the overhead, but Nunda1 was ready to challenge.
Oh, good spot dodge.
Yeah, I had the dodge. Yeah, that was a good dodge, though. That is how you want to handle when someone's trying to rush out of the corner. You want to back up kind of, you know, in the Grand Blue zone. Back up underneath the timer, and once you practice it a little bit, you can reaction dodge rush pretty consistently and get a fat punish. Yeah, using the ball. Good patience here. Oh, good counter hit, but a little bit of a gap there. Held it down.
Big swing.
Oh, big neutral jump, though, and is able to come down, punish the follow-up to the demon flip.
Yeah, that is one of Charlotta's weaknesses, her anti-airs, and none just calling those out with the neutral jumps.
Yeah, we're seeing some pretty one-sided matches early on. The players who are on so far tonight looking real good.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, next one I think will be a little more even. We got Susie, who didn't get to compete last week, so I'm excited to see her, and Free Game, who did very well last week. Free Game is still newer to the game, still learning some of the characters and stuff, but I think he might know Jita just a little bit. There's several Jita players in the world.
Gotcha.
So we will. He has more experience in this game than some do, so I'm excited to see how this will go.
Yeah, I haven't
Susie.
seen Free Game before, and it's been a long time since I've seen Susie play now, actually. The last time was us playing together in a hotel room at Combo Breaker, actually.
I love Susie.
But I know she's
so
been
sweet.
practicing, so I'm ready to see what she's got tonight.
And I was gonna say Nunda1 will go on to fight Destin, who took it over Funk Dangerfield in round 2.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a big match we didn't get to see.
Yeah, you know, Cagliostre's a tricky-ass character to deal with. And Destin plays her well, so fun to see upsets like that in a bracket like this. And then other round 1, Dro took it over Dizzy, DOSBox took it over Super Mech, and Gregory Gambu took it over Spirit. So, and then Live Laugh Lonathan and Lil Zap are still playing. So let's keep going with this. I keep pressing the button that I would press in Blaze Blue to go to my chat box.
I'm trying to fight the habit to not ready up on the cab. Just like, yeah, I'm a gamer. I'm here to push buttons, so I'm pretty bad. I'm the one when everyone is like, yeah, last one. I always accidentally, even though I agree, I'm like, okay, we're done after this one. I always hit rematch.
Yeah, Matt, Free Game's been entering our tournaments for a while. Last, like, 4 or so he's been in. But you can tell he's taking this one seriously, because he's playing Belial from the beginning. And he usually goes with 6 first. My man, was like, we're mained up.
Yeah, and this is matchup of top tiers, right? 2 of the 3 strongest characters in the game, generally accepted, you know, Percival, Jita, Belial. Bub's, you know, probably in that conversation, but these 2, I think, easier to play than either of those other 2 characters. Just Shoto plus, right? Mainly Shoto's just good tools. Belial, you know, more or less the Akuma of this game. Shoto with, you know, a little bit extra. Command grab, a special fireball. And Jita, though, no slouch on the zoning herself. She actually has very competent fireballs compared to Gran or Catalina.
Free Game comfortable backing up and just playing the Grand Blue Zone here. But who's he going to take it back to mid-screen? Big opportunity with the punish.
Yeah, going to carry mostly to the corner here. Has meter available.
It's a
dodge. Yeah, going to get the punish. Yeah, and I like this. So Susie just did auto combo into SBA. Plenty of damage, easy input. You don't have to mess around with the Raging Storm input.
No
All
need
you
to
need.
complicate it.
Isn't that
Yeah.
what I was telling? Isn't that what I was telling Akka earlier? Just do auto combo into SBA.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't even. I didn't know with the easy input you didn't even have to learn.
No. That's only on the technical input. It is a pretty substantial amount that you get by doing the technical input, but you don't need to do max damage. You just need to do enough damage.
Yeah, if they're that low on life, you don't need to. You don't need to do the cool combo. You need to do the combo that'll kill.
Good check with the 5M. Susie's actually been getting very good at holding her ground. Oh, it was punishable. Went with a little too heavy of the normal. The light version of the 214L out of Belial that close is -6. It is punishable by mashing, close light or close medium for most characters. Oh, good counter poke with. Yeah, and that is why Jita's top tier. That far medium.
Oh,
early in the dodge.
Early actually on the spot dodge.
I like this by Susie though. Back off, right? There's not, and that's why you back off.
As you say that.
Whoops.
Messed up.
But it illustrated my point.
It did.
If you have the life lead and the other person's in overdrive, don't go near them. There's no reason to be over there. Make them come to
Susie might
you.
have felt that she needed to close the gap because she was struggling a bit with the fireballs earlier at the start of the game.
Yeah. But I think she's handling the fireballs well. She's not dodging in place, which is usually how you get in trouble. Oh, didn't wait out the 5U, didn't recognize it in time. Oh, a little early.
That walk back was godlike from Zeus.
At China Cage, good spacing, backing off out of the range of the sweep. Almost. Don't get me started on Belial sweep. We'll save that for another stream. Anyone who's talked to me about this game knows my feelings about Belial
Good
sweep.
roll there. That'll be a full punish.
Yeah, because he did the spinner, left himself in counter hit recovery. Knockdown. Gotta look for the OD here. It's available. DPs instead. Not quite out of the corner. No counter hit though, so I'm not able to convert off the 2M there.
Players gotta keep it
Patience from
cool
Susie.
here with so much resources.
Yeah, very dangerous. Any button into rush could finish this for Susie, but the same regard, pretty much anything into super. Gonna need a little bit more. Oh, grabs the jump in. Good block on the overhead. Anyone's round
my
right
God.
now.
Holding my breath here.
Yeah, I gotta be careful with these fireballs. That 5U is still looming.
Rushes through and rush down, but
Yeah, the far medium, deceptive range on that Belial far medium, and the first hit actually starts up very quickly. It's a very good whip punish tool, so
Yeah.
good choice by Free Game there.
and I did think Susie had DP there to use. So Rushdown may have thought it was a safe option, but just not really ready
Yeah.
for the height.
I think that, when you see other characters, especially other Shotos too, using the 2Hs and getting those fat counter hit combos, that can be really appealing as Jita, but her best anti-air is her heavy DP. It's very reliable, it has plenty of forward movement, so it'll catch a wide area in front of you. It's a hard knockdown, and it's a ton of meter. Oh,
It's
good
a side switch.
Yeah.
Very sneaky.
Good stacker
Counter
pressure here.
starter, yep.
Spins cool down the DP. Yeah, gonna bust out. That spinner is fake as pressure if you have an invuln option. Trying to counter poke with the Rekka.
Good spot dodge on that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a little dangerous. The only problem with the dodge there is it does leave you plus in his face, but if you block at that same spacing, it's punishable. Ooh, there's the overdrive. Ooh, weird clash. Should be able to close this out.
Oh, no
the
speaker and OD here. This could be
Yeah.
a big swing for Susie.
Yeah,
Any
so
hit
give it the
SBA
opportunity to
might
activate.
do it.
Not just any hit, easy input SBA through fireballs is a very powerful tool in
yeah.
overdrive.
Yeah, that's true.
Great
he
jump
jumped
timing
in.
again, though. Free Game doing a very good job navigating the projectiles.
And now this is a set point for Free Game.
Trying to get under the fireball, almost had it.
Yeah, Susie trying to slowly take some space here, but yeah. Free Game ready with these jump ins on the fireball.
Yeah, and Belial Jump Heavy is just one of the best fireball punish options in the game. It reaches so far horizontally, a lot of hit stun, so you can almost always land and get, a nice 7 to 9 frame normal depending on how high it hits. Gonna get the juggle here. Oh, I think that Susie was going for the sweep and accidentally got 5U though. You saw that little partial charge. At first I thought she might have been going for the Oki where you can charge up to level 1 and then safe jab as Jita. That's actually the main Oki setup I like to use, but the way she released it right away probably was a sweep.
Yeah. Now, once
Again,
again,
kinda
we're in a pretty tight situation with full meter, but
Yep.
auto combo SBA. Let's go.
Yeah, and that was what I wanted to point out earlier. Something Susie's actually gotten very good at recently is just holding her ground. If you try to run up on her aggressively, she's very good at checking with the 5M, checking with the sweep, and not letting you just run in her face for free and apply stagger pressure.
Yep. Oh, once again, that JH reaching so far.
Tick throw,
Yeah.
get the knockdown here. So just standing in front.
Yeah, Susie's been giving free game a lot of opportunity without anti-airing these jumps.
I almost thought she was going to get another one of those cursed roll interactions.
It would have been really funny to get one of those live. Oh, once
Yeah, right there. I just tried to anti-air, but a little bit late. But that's the situation where you want to use the heavy DP and use the easy input. You don't have to do the real DP. Especially as Jita, right? She can sustain her pressure pretty well. You get a safe jump, auto combo into heavy fireball. By the time all that's done, your DP's almost up anyways. Another jump in.
And free game just comfortable throwing fireballs full screen and taking some jumps right
Good
now.
use of the rush, yeah. And he has one more available. So
He's gonna need a spot to OD to avoid chip out. But,
Oh, yeah. Maybe could have popped there in the spinner, but depending if free game was on top of it, he could have gotten over to punish anyways. But really good, solid play from free game, navigating the projectiles very well, using the strong tools really effectively.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, now Sui gonna be making this run in losers bracket. Some good potential there. Just needs to kind of fill out the rest of the game against Belial with some anti-airs.
Yeah, honestly, it was a toss-up for me in this one. I think both these players could easily make top 8. That was a really great match, honestly.
Yeah, I do think it's a good illustration. I don't think it's unique to Jita, but Belial jump H is such a powerful button when you have fireballs, he's going to be looking for it. And he also has the air stall with JU. It's not as good as it used to be, but it's good enough, especially against Jita not having the best 2H. Would like to see in the future, Susie, just using the heavy DP, use the easy input heavy DP to anti-air. It's very reliable against Belial. And the damage is okay, obviously you're not getting a fat counter hit combo, but the meter is there. You're getting 20 plus meter for that every time, and now you have Rush, and Rush is how you set up Jita's win condition, being able to EX wreck a wall bounce from, 2 screens away.
I was gonna say Jobful here is on the cab, but I don't think he's up right now. It's Gregory and Zap, right?
No, we're having Awful and DOSBox first.
Oh, okay. I was looking at the bracket.
Yep, DOS putting in a lot of grinding past week. I've seen them in NAPC, constantly asking for matches in the lobby frequently. Know that they've been working. They had a really good showing, top 8 2 weeks ago, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, they were doing pretty well with Zoe, so I'm excited to see what they've been cooking up over the past 2 weeks.
Definitely getting their bearings on the game, and most importantly, asking a lot of questions, right? Fighting games are frustrating because you're going to lose way more than you're going to win early on, but you're not going to stop losing if you don't ask why you're losing, if you don't understand why you're losing. If you are able to break down your own replays and get a good understanding of why you lost, then yeah, you can go about it solo. But if you're getting smoked, just stop and say, hey, what am I doing that's allowing you to smoke me? And a lot of players are going to be willing to help you out and tell you why, because you getting better and forcing them to stop using the level 1 stuff that you're losing to is how they're going to get forced to get better.
Especially with Zoe, with all the different interactions that can happen with her set play, it's very important to get those reps in and just kind of figure out how to beat these later 1 options from characters.
Yeah, and you want to see all of the different things that people are going to try to mash out, right? Because sometimes there's going to be something you're not expecting, like a wake-up sweep.
Of course. Yeah, from certain people, it might be more common than other options.
I don't know who would do that. That's crazy.
Yeah, no one I know, surely.
So awful. Tell me, Dub, how does the graduation work? What are the rules here?
You have to win 2 tournaments.
Okay.
So, just, it's kind of like, some people get on a really good bracket run, they're in their groove that day, but they're not really, prepared to, move on to doing well in open brackets, or they just need a little bit more time to cook in the oven, and so that's why I do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
I think it's also...
Vera.
I think it's also good to... Oh, I didn't tell them to start. I think it's also good to... Because, a lot of our graduates express that they're very sad they graduated, so it's a little better than just winning one bracket and suddenly you can't participate anymore,
Yeah, it makes sense. Especially since TMN kind of started as a more close-knit community. It's a lot of people playing together and having fun.
Yeah, the way we started was we ran Guilty Gear Exard tournaments. We were called Blitz War, and we ran Guilty Gear Exard tournaments for the southern region, beginner and intermediate tournaments. And so it was this was during delay, so it was a very, very small group of people playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are seeing the Vera coming out of Awful, so I'm my time is delayed. I'm trying to poach Tavi's, student for my dojo, so we'll see how the cat comes along. But for now, it's going to be the Vera. Really similar ranges.
There, good control.
Yeah. The spacing
is challenging right off the bat here.
Spacing going to become really important in this match because these characters have very similar range with their far mediums. I honestly can't tell you who I think is better. I do think Vera's obviously a little more rewarding. Zoe, I'm sure people who have fought Zoe have had this feeling where you'll see her seemingly with far medium and you'll walk forward and the last active frame will clip you and you're just like, how is that still active?
Just Zoe things. But yeah, I was gonna say, this is a very interesting matchup. I don't really know how I feel about it personally, because both characters have some very strong positions they can take. If Vera gets snowballing and puts Zoe in the corner, it feels like it's 10-0 Vera. But when I would like to Vera out with El Dragon and running setups on her, it can feel the same way for Zoe. So it's really a question of who can take that momentum.
You gotta think of what are the main weaknesses of the character, and for Zoe her main weakness is the lack of a real invuln reversal, so not being put in the corner is going to be kind of paramount if you want to win. On the other side, Vera's main weakness is projectiles, and Zoe El Dragon, arguably the best fireball in the game. The resource need for it can make it a little rough when you run out, but before she's in install, Vera doesn't really have anything other than jump and roll, and the recovery is low enough on El Dragon that if she's going to roll through it, you can probably push a button and, stuff her for trying to come through. Awful though with a good start.
And already up 1-0 here.
Oh, misses the double DP route though, yeah. I didn't know if you could do that off of medium DP actually. I've only seen that double juggle route with the heavy version, so maybe a slight input error, maybe a slight timing error. Awful though, and still in a pretty good position. Holds the jump in, but not the block string after. Going to bust out with the heavy DP. Has the corner, should get the bounce to finish it here.
Yeah, very clean confirms from Awful so far. Just making sure to get maximum reward off each hit.
Yeah, and Vera is, I feel like non-install Vera is actually very underrated. Going to push the command grab here, so he's not going to have to worry about spending the meter, and now you get to have the best of both worlds, right? I do think Rush is a very powerful tool for Vera because the 236H, it can wall bounce from super, super far, and now that's going to be available. Also, going to have that laser super available, so the Dragon is going to be less powerful, but we might not even get to see any more Dragon here. Going to need an overdrive or something just to be allowed to play again, and not going to get the opportunity. There's the anti-air 5U. That move is scary when she's in install. Actually obnoxious hitboxes. It's almost like a DP. Sometimes it feels like it. You'll put a normal out, and 5U will just counter hit it into a full airborne combo.
Yeah, definitely something to look out for. And Awful taking that very clean 2-0. Just looking dominant in neutral and just commanding the corner when he got the opportunity.
All right.
I will say for DOS, I noticed that Awful was definitely playing around Zoe's spacing very well. And DOS was kind of just whiffing into the space when Awful was walking backwards and giving Awful a lot of opportunities to punish.
I would also like to see a little more similar to the prior match. Even though it's not good as a reversal, the skill button heavy DP for Zoe is a very good anti-air. When
Yes.
somebody's jumping at you to navigate the zone, just clip it out of the air. You get the hard knockdown, you get your Dragon Oki. And again, it's one of those things, it's okay to use the easy input version because you're going to lock them down with heavy Dragon after. They're going to have to block for a little bit. By the time that next interaction finishes, your timer's mostly back up.
Yep, and it's a very important cooldown to keep active when Vera is in install because it can check a lot of her air dash mechanics. So if you just have that EXDP ready, you're just basically ready to check any kind of like forward air dash or like any shenanigans that Vera tries to jump at you with. You don't have to hold, so it's very important to keep that active and just be ready to easy input.
All right, so up next, we're going to have Gregory, Granblue, and Zap, both players who I've actually run longer sets with in the last few weeks. Played actually a really long set, for like 50-some games against Gregory earlier today, so I'm surprised he's not exhausted. We'll see how he's doing.
I mean, he is the Gregory Granblue himself. So.
You know that picture of Shaq where it's like, I owe you an apology. I wasn't really familiar with the game. That's how I feel about Little Zab seeding right now.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Zap trying to feel his way with Matera. Has a lot of the combos down and everything. Sometimes a little bit stingy with